Lecture 21, The Sixth Mantra of Leadership, Failed Congratulations. Part 1. This is the 21st lecture of the leadership course. It is our final discussion on the topic of failure, and we will be exploring the sixth mantra of leadership, failed congratulations. In the previous two lectures, we discussed failure from both personal and organizational perspectives, highlighting the differences between mediocrity and greatness. Mediocre individuals and organizations fear failure and hide from it, while great individuals and organizations embrace failure and actively learn from it. Great organizations are built by leaders such as Kazuo Inamori and Zhengfei, and if you wish to emulate them, you must practice learning from failure. But how do you practice this? By using the mantra, failed congratulations. When you fail, congratulate yourself. When others fail, congratulate them. However, I understand that you may be hesitant to say this to others. You may worry that they will become angry with you. If someone has just failed and is feeling upset or frustrated, they may think that you are being insensitive by congratulating them. Similarly, when you fail, you may not feel confident enough to congratulate yourself. The mantra, failed congratulations, is like a bicycle that requires two wheels to function properly. These two wheels are the classification of failure and the redefinition of failure. In this lecture, we will focus on how to use these two wheels in conjunction with the mantra. 1. The 7 types of failure. Let me first introduce the first wheel, the classification of failure. I have previously mentioned Harvard Business School scholar Amy Edmondson, who is an expert in the study of failure. Based on her research, I have classified failure into 7 types. While it may seem like a lot, once you identify the patterns, it is not difficult to understand. I will introduce all 7 types of failure first, and then discuss the patterns. The first type of failure is called disregarding rules and regulations. This occurs when there are clear rules and regulations in place, but you intentionally choose to ignore them, resulting in failure. For example, if you run a red light thinking you can get away with it, but end up in a car accident, that is an example of disregarding rules and regulations. The second type of failure is carelessness. This is also a violation of rules and regulations, but it is different from disregarding them. Disregarding rules and regulations is intentional, while carelessness is unintentional. For example, if you run a red light because you were distracted and did not see the traffic signal, that is an example of carelessness. The third type of failure is inadequate ability. You see the red light and want to stop, but due to your driving skills, you are unable to stop the car in time. This is a failure caused by inadequate ability. The fourth type of failure is process defects. If there are problems with the design of the traffic lights, such as the green light being too short and turning red without warning, it is easy to run a red light. This is a failure caused by process defects. There are a total of 7 types of failure, and I have just discussed 4, disregarding rules and regulations, carelessness, inadequate ability, and process defects. I have used running a red light as an example, but you can understand that this is just a metaphor, and there are many other types of failures in organizations that are similar to running a red light. Now, let's move on to the 5th type of failure. I will not use running a red light as an example this time. The 5th type of failure is known risks. Robert Rubin, a former U.S. Treasury Secretary who previously worked in finance and led Goldman Sachs, started his career in arbitrage. He calculated that the probability of his failure was 1/7. Although each transaction was carefully planned, there were still uncertain factors, and every 7 transactions would result in 1 loss, but he did not know which one. Because Rubin knew the probability of failure, he was not upset when he experienced a loss. This is known risk. The 5th type of failure is known risk, and the 6th type of failure is unknown risk. Known risk is a risk that you know will happen, and you even know the probability of it happening, but you do not know when it will happen. Unknown risk is a risk where you do not even know the probability of it happening. For example, the Wenchuan earthquake and the U.S. financial crisis are both unknown risks. The seventh type of failure is the most unique, and it is called exploration and innovation. Developing new products and entering new markets are activities that fall under exploration and innovation, and failure is inevitable. Entrepreneur Elon Musk launched rockets, and the first 3 launches failed. This is the seventh type of failure, exploration and innovation. 2. Good failure, normal failure, and bad failure. I have just discussed the 7 types of failure: 1. Disregarding rules and regulations, 2. Carelessness, 3. Inadequate ability, 4. Process defects, 5. Known risks, 6. Unknown risks, and 7. Exploration and innovation. Now, let me reclassify them into 3 groups. Exploration and innovation is the most unique and belongs to a separate group called good failure. Known risks and unknown risks belong to another group called normal failure, because they are difficult to avoid. The first 4 types of failure, disregarding rules and regulations, carelessness, inadequate ability, and process defects, belong to a group called bad failure, because they could have been avoided. Good failure is something we should actively pursue, while normal failure is something that is difficult to avoid, so it is normal to experience it. Bad failure, on the other hand, is something that could have been avoided. As I mentioned earlier, the mantra, failed. Congratulations, needs to be used in conjunction with 2 wheels. The first wheel is the classification of failure, and now that we have classified them, we can better use the mantra. Why is failure worth congratulating? Because some failures are good failures, such as exploration and innovation. It is said that Musk once said, "If you're not failing, you're not innovating enough."